Hey, good morning. It's February 21st, Friday. Time for some more everyday thoughts. This morning, I want to continue on a little bit more with this idea of how do we deal with anger and its relationship to the flaming arrows, the fiery darts being shot at us from the enemy. And it's what Ephesians warns us about. Historical context is always helpful. So for us, the metaphor of a flaming arrow doesn't have a whole lot of reality to it. But at that time, that was very much an issue that was in combat. So the Roman soldiers would have a large shield protection that would have several layers of leather stretched over the frame of the shield. And then before battle, they would soak these shields, this leather, in water so they would be wet, so that when the literal flaming arrows of the enemy were shot at them, they would be extinguished into the shield. So there's a very practical element to what Paul is warning about in Ephesians chapter 6. If you saw the movie Gladiator, at the beginning of it, you saw these flaming arrows being shot by the Roman soldiers. And that's literally what Paul is saying here. So he's trying to tell us the enemy means serious business, and we need protection from that. And this shield of faith is one of those chief sources of protection. From yesterday, we talked about anger, that when we let our anger control us, we take the shield of faith and we will have no way to stop these flaming arrows coming at us. So we just throw that shield away and leave ourselves exposed. We need faith to deal with anger because faith is what helps us deal with anger and gives us something to do with it. See, these things that happen to us in our lives, our personality, they're not static. Anger just doesn't come and sit. Anger comes, you have to do something with it. You either use it for God and the way that God directs you to, so that your righteous anger is good anger, it follows God's direction, it issues forth the good things, which is exactly what God's anger does, or it hits us and it dwells within us and causes either immediate outrage and outbursts, words that we wish we had never said, sometimes physical actions, sometimes just bitterness, rage. But there's another side to that too, is we take that anger and we store it up inside. Like I said, anger is never static. It's not stationary, it's dynamic, it's powerful. So you can deal with it by lashing out, or you can deal with it by storing it up inside you because you don't want to let anybody know you're angry, you're embarrassed about it, you're afraid of what you might do, you don't want anybody to see that you have an anger problem, so you sit on it. But like a volcano, at one point it's going to erupt. And sometimes the eruption is more than catastrophic. That's the wrong way to deal with anger. The right way to deal with anger, the energy, the way to use faith to deal with anger, is to deploy anger to give you the energy you need to serve God. So when someone does something unkind to you, when your child says something that is hurtful, a friend says something that is hurtful, let's not dwell so much on what was done to be hurtful. Let's dwell, how can I turn this thing around so that God is honored? So I return good for evil. So I don't lash out, but I also return good for evil by not keeping it inside me. Realizing that if it's my anger, I need to repent of it. If I want to do something positive with that anger, I've asked God to give me the strength and the energy to reach out and love someone when they're unlovely. That's what you and I want, isn't it? It's basically what the passage in Matthew 7, the Golden Rule, talks about. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. So we need that shield. And we need not to just ignore anger or think if we have an outburst we've dealt with it, or if we're going to store it up or dealt with it. No. It will consume us if we don't repent of it or use it to do what God's called us to do. If you have some questions about anger, text them to me, or you can leave a comment on the YouTube channel here. Thanks so much for being with us today. I pray you, God bless you today as you prepare for the weekend. I really enjoy having all of you here with us on Everyday Thoughts. And hit the subscribe button or leave a comment, or just, again, thanks a lot for being here. You have a great day. Lord bless. Bye-bye.